Welcome to Awakening Mindfulness at Work, a conversation that matters. I'm Pierre Coant.
And I'm Sarah Killeen. We are bringing to you conversations and practices to cultivate presence, calm, and balance in the workplace.
So let's begin right here, right now.
Welcome, everyone, to our new episode. And I'd like to start with this idea. You know how we all walk around with our worries, concerns, and all the things that happen, difficult situations. It's almost like heavy weight that we're carrying all the time. So the invitation at the beginning of this episode is to take that heavy weight, imagine yourself like lifting it, like it's on your shoulders, you're lifting it, and you're placing it on the side and feeling free from it, even for just 15 minutes. So you can be present and listen and reflect with us. And then, it'll be there for you. Don't worry. You can catch up on it after 15 minutes. But for now, just taking a deep breath to go with that, to help you make that mini transition. So just a slow and deep breath. Yeah. And let's start.
Thanks, Pierre. It's really interesting how aligned this introduction, this little arriving exercise was with the topic that I've chosen for today. And we haven't told each other anything, so that's great. So the theme I wanted to be speaking about today and discuss with you is pain and discomfort, which is, unavoidable. And maybe you've heard this saying, pain is unavoidable, but suffering is optional. And I want to unpack this today, and especially if we practice meditation, mindfulness meditation, like we're teaching in our classes. You are kind of taught to be in the same position for a certain amount of time. You're taught to be still, and a lot of discomfort can come up. A lot of pain can appear when we allow ourselves to come into stillness and we turn the attention towards the body, really being with the body, becoming friendly with the body. Pain can come up. It's not that there wasn't pain before. It's just that suddenly we notice it because we're here. So I want to say a few things about pain and discomfort and then discuss it with you. But the first thing I wanted to say was, just like all the other topics, it's about the relationship we have with whatever we're experiencing, right? If we notice pain, if we notice discomfort, a good study we can do is, what is our relationship with it? Are we creating some drama when pain comes up? Oh, I have soreness in my ankles. Oh, there's, I'm feeling a little bit itchy there. Are we creating a big drama? Are we trying to push it away? Are we contracting? Are we resisting? Are we trying to make space for it, to welcome it with as much gentleness as possible? So what is our relationship with pain as it comes up? So that's the first thing that I'm sure you have something to say about. And then I'd just like to mention a few different kinds of discomfort one might encounter as one is practicing mindfulness. The first one is ongoing physical pain. So if you are, on an ongoing basis, you're feeling pain, something is painful, you're sick, there's really a pain that's chronic. This is not to be overridden, right? It's pain, it's very much there. And it's all about how can you care for yourself in the moment, how can you care for this pain? How can you care for his body? It's not about pushing through. It's not about, trying to just be strong enough to just push through if you're really in pain. It's about caring for the body, kind of having that loving kindness and having that tenderness to the body. Now, that's one option, but there's all kinds of other discomforts that can come up, like discomfort in the position that you're sitting in. If you're sitting in a position and you're feeling some discomfort right away, very often it's not a big deal, right? And here the invitation, it's something we're teaching in our classes as well, is trying to explore it until it's too much, right? Trying to explore That's discomfort, our relationship to it, until it's too much and we have to move. And if we have to move, that's fine too. It's not a failure. It's about transitioning. It's about doing it mindfully. And it's all about those qualities that you're able to cultivate, right? This mindfulness in the middle of discomfort. And like I was saying, if discomfort is coming up because we're more attentive, because we're more present, for example, I notice I have pain in my shoulder. It's not that meditation is creating shoulder pain. Very certainly this pain was already there, but it was being masked. It was not being looked at. So it was it was buried, right? And just sitting and being with the body and relaxing with it, straight away we notice the pain. And that's when we can, be mindful about it. That's the practice as well. It's noticing and looking at the relationship with it. And the last one is emotional discomfort as well. And I'm sure you have a lot of things to say about that, Kier, as well. As what if challenging emotions come up? What if we suddenly feel bored and restless and nervous and angry and anxious? And staying with that and making space up for it and including that in the practice, being part of the practice, not being an obstacle to the practice, being the practice. So yeah, that's a few things I wanted to talk about today. I'm sure you have lots to say. So yeah, up to you now. Which thread do you want to pull?
So many that we can build on. What a interesting and really real topic that probably impacts all of us in some way or another, whether it's the ongoing physical pain, that there's so much of that around, to the discomfort in the position we're in, to the emotional discomfort. So there's so much to that. So first, a thought that came to my mind, Sarah, which is something you mentioned in one of our meditation sessions. You gave us this really nice formula, which is pain equal, no, actually suffering equal pain times resistance. So I thought that was so relevant actually to the topic today. And it's such a simple way to highlight how, there's a difference between pain and suffering. So pain can be real, we can sense it in the body. Suffering is an extra layer that we could add to pain, and suffering can be, if we don't resist the pain, suffering can be minimal, or even zero. I mean, if you're a mathematician and you want to follow the formula closely, that would mean if suffering equal pain times resistance, if resistance is zero, suffering is zero. So that's the extreme, of course. But being human and not necessarily very, adhere to analytics, there will be some suffering, but it will be a lot less and a lot more manageable. Yeah, so that's the distinction that came to mind first.
Yeah, and I mean it's the first in the first minute when I mentioned also, pain is unavoidable, but suffering is optional. That common saying, that's exactly what you're saying, right? Pain is going to be there. We can't be human and we can't go through this human life without experiencing pain, physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain. It will be there. Now, what do we do with it? And that's why I really like this introduction as well, this arriving exercise, with this burden, this weight that we can choose to lay aside for a bit. And I think something that's very important there, we speak often about the feedback loop between, what we're feeling and what we're thinking and what we're sensing in the body, and how all these are very tightly connected. The narrative that we have around pain and what we tell ourselves when we are feeling pain is really influencing the pain that we're actually feeling, right? It's when I remember that, when we're kids and we go to the doctor and they're distracting us, like, oh, put your attention somewhere else and think about something else and think nice things, and suddenly, oh, we don't feel anything anymore. And then if someone tells you, Now think about this pain and think about how painful it is and how heavy and how nice your life would be if you were not feeling that pain, and how horrible, and that's so sad. And I can guarantee the pain is going to be, you're going to feel the pain a lot more heavily, right? And so kind of the importance of the narrative, the importance of the mindset and the frame, and yeah, I also want to say it's easier said than done. You know, I think a lot of people that are listening right now, just like we do, know that intuitively. And when we're caught up in pain, sometimes it's very difficult to get out of it. Because pain it can be, you know, debilitating. It really has an impact on the way we live. It can be very heavy. So yeah, I just want to put a little disclaimer out there. Whatever we're saying here, we're not, you know, minimizing how impactful pain can be, and how painful pain can be, one can say. Just kind of trying to invite to look at pain a little bit differently and use it as a gateway into more mindfulness, into more presence, into more gratitude, into more present. Yeah, all of that.
Yeah. And I think maybe there's a distinction between, you know, the extreme pain, which probably requires additional measures and much more both practical and also mindfulness related measures to work through it. And then there is the more common pains that we mostly suffer from quite often, in the three ways you described, Sarah. And this is where our work and mindfulness might help. It's that distinction between the suffering and pain, and being aware of not adding suffering to the pain. So this is where our real work is. How can we separate the two and start to notice what is it that we're telling ourselves that's adding the additional suffering? Like, I shouldn't have this pain. I'm very unlucky to have this pain. This is so much. This is so unbearable. And we add so much of that additional feeling and additional thoughts that create the extra suffering. So the idea is, if we go back to the original pain, the physical pain, and try, if possible, try to be curious about it, see how it feels like, where does the feeling go, where does that sensation go. That actually, well, number one, is going to reduce the suffering part, because now we're no longer engaged into all these exaggerations. We're back to the real thing. And we get to know a little bit more about the real thing, the real sensation. So that's what came up.
Yeah, and it's not just physical pain. I think, you know, if everyone who's listening, if someone who's listening has gone through a very serious heartbreak, you know, that can be as painful as, you know, losing an arm. I mean, emotional pain can be, I mean, incredibly painful. And so the same applies to emotional pain and mental pain. And yeah, I guess also the reflection, you know, what came up for me as you were speaking, was when we catch ourselves doing that, you know, adding, kind of fueling the narratives around the pain, or having a little bit of a victim mindset, or, you know, kind of, you know, adding to the pain, and creating a little bit of suffering, and oh, poor me. And because, you know, it's very human to do that. And you know, it's human. So when we catch ourselves doing that, maybe wondering and reflecting on what are we getting out of it, because it's very rare that we do something if we don't get anything out of it, right? So somehow it might not be conscious at all. It might be very unconscious, but somehow we're getting some kind of comfort, some kind of soothing, some kind of validation, where maybe somehow existing through that status of being in pain, we can find some meaning in there, maybe, or it's a way of, you know, being validated or existing, and reflecting on what are we getting out of it, and then trying to create those feelings in a different way. Okay, if it's comfort, if it's attention, can I actually get that? Can I have that comfort and that validation or whatever it is without increasing the pain, in different ways, in cultivating other qualities and exploring different avenues and thinking different things and behaving differently. What is that feeling, that I'm trying to get here? Just a little reflection.
Yeah, yeah. And a couple books actually come to mind, very much related to this topic. First one is very directly related to this topic, and that's John Kabat-Zinn. And the book is Mindfulness for Pain Relief: Guided Practices for Reclaiming Your Body and Your Life. So that is could be an interesting resource. Another one is a book called You Belong: A Call for Connection. And the reason it came to mind because Bine Selassie, the author, she actually had to go through a chronic illness, a severe chronic illness, and she worked through it. And throughout the book, she keeps coming back to it and describing how she dealt with that severe kind of situation. So I could
Yeah,
still
sorry,
is, yeah.
she still is. I'm reading her newsletter every month, and it's a wonderful example of someone who used her pain and her difficulties. And when I say pain, it's acute physical pain and mental and emotional over decades, and used that as, again, gateway, and developing so much happiness, so much fulfillment, helping people and navigate that. And that's, she's even saying, it's of course the most difficult thing that happened in my life, and it's the most precious thing as well. It's and you hear a lot of people say that, actually, that went through really difficult things, making these challenges and that pain their secrets. I don't want to say weapon, but a weapon for happiness. So yeah, thank you for sharing those two books. Yeah, wonderful authors. Yeah, what are we? I think let's wrap up. There's a lot to say about pain, but we don't. If the episode is so long, it will become painful for our listeners. So.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for this topic. And I would say, if I were to leave a closing comment, Sarah, I would say back to the formula that suffering equal pain times resistance. And if we keep resistance in check, we're likely to keep suffering in check.
Wonderful. Have a good week, everyone, and we'll see you very soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pierre.